What's the dumbest but legitimate excuse you said when you were late to school or work? Story 1. Someone burned my parents' car. I don't remember if the teacher believed me, but someone had really stolen my parents' car, drove it until the fuel tank was empty, and burned it in a field. If they actually used gasoline as the accelerant to burn it, that makes the story even more ridiculous. Story 2. My son made me late for work, and he was late for school, when he announced halfway to his school that he wasn't wearing underwear. He was 6 and had decided that he only needed pants after insisting he was a big boy who didn't need help getting ready in any way. But after riding in the car, he realized his uniform pants were not comfortable on his, and I quote, penis and weenie bag. I swear, there was something about kids and hatred of underwear. When my daughter was 5, she wanted to wear a dress to a family party, but didn't want to wear underwear because she was afraid of people seeing her underwear if she danced or jumped. I tried to tell her to not wear the dress, but she insisted that she had to. She also wouldn't wear leggings because it apparently wasn't a leggings kind of dress. My 4-year-old son chimed in with, then everyone will see your butt and vagina. She put shorts on under her dress. They are teens now, and they'll sometimes comment about how it's better to accidentally show underwear than a butt or vagina. Story 3. The bull got out and was hit by a gravel truck. I live in the rural suburbs near a major Texas city. Think farmland being turned into subdivisions. This bull had a habit of getting out of his part of the field, probably the most Texan reason to be late ever. Story 4. A house was in my way. Was behind a truck moving a modular home that had some sort of issue and was stopped. Obviously, if a car breaks down in front of you, you can usually just drive around it, but this took up pretty much the whole road. A cop had to direct traffic around it. Was only 15 minutes late, so it wasn't all that inconvenient, but definitely the strangest excuse I've had. Luckily, it happened after the invention of camera phones, though shitty flip ones, so I had proof. Story 5. I once emailed my biology professor that I wouldn't be able to make it to class to take an exam because I was out of pants. As a freshman, I jammed all of my laundry into our dorm's washer. I was walking around in athletic shorts while I was in there. I went and tossed everything in the dryer and set an alarm for an hour later. When I went back, all of my clothes were gone. All of my pants, all but 2 or 3 of my shirts. All I had was what I was wearing. It was winter in Wisconsin, and I wasn't going to risk getting some kind of frostbite to take a test. I emailed my professor that all my clothes were stolen and I wouldn't be able to make it to class. My sister ended up giving me a ride to the nearest department store and helped me buy some new pants, but it was a rough day or two. Story 6. My printer caught fire. Final paper due at exactly 11 a.m. I submitted it electronically before the deadline and showed up at 11:15 rather out of breath and was told it was too late. Professor said I'd get a 0. I showed her the burnt paper and a picture of my burn-up printer sitting on the sidewalk I took with my phone. Got an exception and was allowed to submit. Must have been a Sabre printer. Sorry, Professor, I was recording my mixtape while submitting this paper. Story 7. In high school, I once had a big report due by the end of the day. I actually stayed home that day to complete it, and I didn't finish it until nearly 11 p.m. that evening, past the deadline. I got a janitor to let me into the school and then to open the classroom door. I put it on the teacher's desk. The next day, I told him I delivered it to him just before midnight, which should count as before the end of the day since he didn't say end of the school day. He sighed and told me, fine. He didn't consider it late. Story 8. My dad once threw some monkey bread outside. It was winter. It froze solid overnight. I tripped and rolled my ankle on the way out of the door because a fucking squirrel or something had picked it up and booby-trapped our porch. Because a fucking squirrel or something had picked it up and booby-trapped our porch. Story 9. Probably a monkey, seeing as he made bread out of one of his brethren. There was several geese around my motorbike and refusing to let me on it. I ring my boss and they didn't believe it until I came in with photos of hell's geese hissing at me because it was their bike now. I hate geese. They scare me. Geese are the worst. We have a lake near my work and they just do whatever they want. Someone couldn't leave one day, just like you almost, because there was a goose above their driver's side door and wouldn't get off. My old manager was attacked by one and created a hilarious geese safety PSA PowerPoint. These geese are fucking dicks. Story 10. I got distracted by watching the university swan eat a duck. The fuck? You can't go casually dropping waterfowl cannibalism in here and not follow up on it. Was the swan biting chunks of it or swallowing its asshole? Story 11. I shit my pants on my way to work at 32 years old simply by trusting a fart. That was a fun phone call. People are much more descriptive than they need to be when calling in sick. I've gotten messages like, I had diarrhea all night long and then proceeded to vomit until I vomited blood. And it's like, dude, I'm sick. I expect it will clear up within X time. In your case, I would have called in and said it was a family emergency or something. To be fair, that's probably due to bosses going, it's not that bad, right? Story 12. Was in Alaska for a few years. I lived in a duplex, but the only way to get to my side was up the only flight of stairs. My portion was above the garages. Had a moose hanging out at the bottom of the stairs, just sitting there. Had to be late for work because there was no way I was about to go down there. Called boss. Boss understood. Showed up about 2 hours later and everything was fine. Story 13. Me. Boss, I'm gonna be late. There's like 3 cars on fire on the highway. Boss. Dude, I was just on the highway 15 minutes ago. There's no burning cars. Me. Sends him a picture of the burning cars and paramedic. Boss. When the fuck did that happen? Me. My guess, less than 15 minutes ago. It's so exhausting for me when people don't just take my word for stuff. Like, I don't lie, but so many people do that I have to deal with people thinking I lie too. Story 14. I was heading back to school after lunch break, and a guy who said he was the new student started talking to me. He was acting really weird, so I was all, yeah, gotta go. He stole my backpack and refused to give it back. I chased this guy around for like half an hour. Fucker was like 6'6", hard to catch someone whose legs are so damn long. But eventually, he tripped. I got my bag back and made a dash for the school. When I explained to the teacher why I had missed half of the class, she accused me of lying and sent me to the principal's office, where I ran into the giant weirdo being escorted home by his parents because he was high on mushrooms. Seems that holding my bag hostage was just the tip of his iceberg for that day. The next day, he apologized for taking my stuff while he was high, and we were friends all through high school. Story 15. Right before I had to leave for work, my cat fell in the toilet. My husband thinks I'm crazy because I insist on keeping the toilet seat closed at all times so the cat won't fall in. Thank you, kind stranger, for proving me right. Totally get what you mean. At first they think it's all interesting, but the moment they're in, they want to exit at the speed of light. Then you're stuck with the potential mess. Story 16. Was waiting for the bus when someone, douche, in a passing car threw an egg at me. Got me straight in the temple. Had to go home and clean up. Was an hour late. People at work called me egghead that day. Story 17. I arrived at class around 30 minutes late, red-faced and out of breath. The reason why I was late was because I thought it was Saturday. Teacher started laughing at me and told me to sit down. When I sat down, someone kindly let me know that my jumper was on backwards. We sincerely appreciate you taking the time to watch our YouTube video. If you find our content helpful and enjoyable, please click the subscribe button to stay updated on any new videos we share in the future. Thank you once again, and we hope to see you in our next upcoming videos.